Hello. Hey, Paul. Good to see you, mate. Morning. It's a beautiful day. Thank God. I think summer's actually here. Yeah, who else have we got? Roisin, good to see you. Good to have you back. Okay, guys. Well, I think we'll get started. So, yeah, we're going to be doing a pretty nice energetic flow today. Mostly based around building sort of the energy, and we're going to be doing a variation on the sort of the traditional sun salutation sequence, which is a pretty integral part of the Vinyasa Hatha Yoga, the Vinyasa Hatha Yoga sort of, what am I saying, sequence or system. So, and that's basically based around greeting the sun in the morning and saluting the sun. And that's pretty much where the whole yoga flow system started from. So I thought it might be nice to start off with that. So let's go. We're just going to get straight into it. It's going to be pretty straightforward. Let's make it happen, guys. So we'll start off on our mats here in a standing position, and we'll maybe have a block ready. And let's go. So we'll start off with the feet out nice and wide, like maybe the distance of, or the length of your leg, sort of in between the feet here. So you're making a nice tripod. And sorry, making sure my mic's on. And what we're going to do is just roll the shoulders out a little bit, guys. So take some movement here and make it intuitive. If you want to sort of twist yourself around a little bit, that's fine. Loosen up over the chest. Maybe do some oscillations with the chin, with the neck, opening up over the throat. Bring the ears down towards the shoulders. Perfect, guys. And then we're going to loop the shoulders back, lift the shoulders up towards the ears. Flip the palms out and let the shoulder blades slide down the spine here. Let the hands fall away from the shoulders. Let the weight fall down through your hips, out over your legs and into your feet. And from here, just bring some awareness to where your feet are. And I mean, you obviously know where they are. They're on the floor. They're keeping you upright. But notice where the weight is as well. So notice if the weight is in your toes, if the weight is in your heels, if the weight is in the blades, or if it's in the arches. And then maybe just play around with shifting the weight a little bit or neutralizing the weight. So I even like to lift all 10 toes and just feel the arches pick up a little bit. And then maybe just let the toes fall down, spreading them out nice and wide. And try and just create equal weight between toes and heels and arch and blade. So creating a sort of a four corners sort of system there with your feet. And from here, what we're going to do is maybe just bring the hands to the hips, guys. Close the eyes. And then start to take 5 or 6 breaths here. Just find your breath. Take a deep breath in. And a long exhale through the nose. Fully check into the body here. Notice what parts of your body expand as you breathe in. Notice what section of your upper body expand, whether it's the front of the chest, the sides of the chest, or the back, or all of it together. Notice where is expanding. Notice if the shoulders lift as you inhale. Maybe you can try to keep the shoulders soft and away from the ears and just fill the chest. Take a long exhale here. And just try to center yourself into this space. Try to remove yourself from the rest of the world just for a moment. Take a deep breath in and a long exhale. So we want to be as in touch and aware as possible. Inhale. Exhale. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to rock the hips around in a sort of a circular motion here, and just start small. And then start to create those circles in a kind of a, what would it be? Like a horizontal circles in the air. And then do a couple in the other direction. And we're just starting off small. Perfect. Then what we're going to do is come back in the opposite direction. But as you bring the hips forward, try to draw the navel or draw the pubic bone towards the spine here. So there's going to be a slight tilting of the tailbone. Of the tailbone, you'll feel the glutes switch on as you press forward. You probably start to feel a bit of an opening out over the hips here. And then you can shift the weight back into the heels. And then rock over to whatever side, doesn't matter which direction you're doing those oscillations in. We're going to lift the tailbone a bit. So now the pelvis is tilting forwards here. And then we'll repeat. We'll bring the hips back around, tuck the tailbone under. And now what we're doing is we're sort of really rotating into the hip joints there. And really just lubricating the hips, and it should feel really nice. Press forward. You don't have to time breath too much with this movement, but try to stay long and sort of focused in breath. You might hear a few little clicks and pops in the hips, and that's a really good way to start the day, so hopefully you do. We'll come back in the opposite direction. Nice. Long, steady breathing, guys. In through the nose, out through the nose, or out through the mouth, if that's easier for you. Perfect. Now, what we're going to do is come back to a neutral position, spin around into the left foot. Or if you're already looking at the front of your mat, you might not need to, but we're stepping towards the front of the mat. So here we are. What I'm going to do from here is press into the heels, bring the hands towards the heart center, sweep up, lift the chest. I'm going to exhale, bend the knees a lot here, just to allow my pelvis to, or my hips to tip forward. And I'm going to reach for a block here. You may not need one. And I'm going to start to walk out through the heels. And this is really, really nice. So what my hips are doing is my hips are sort of rocking from side to side. As I press into the right hip, or into the right heel, the right hip is lifting. I'm bending the left knee here. Let's do a couple of those. So I'll swap sides here. Bend the right knee, press into the left heel. You should feel this really nice IT band opening, and it's really nice opening up over the outer hamstring, probably up over the hip as well, releasing the lower back. You can start to sort of press your navel towards your toes, which will intensify even more. And as we exhale, let's move into the stretch. Inhale, swap sides, and exhale, moving into the stretch. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhaling. Couple more, guys. Inhale, exhale. Really start to guide your navel, always leading from the navel and the chest down towards the mat here. And your hands might be on the ground, that's fine. I like to have mine on a block, try and keep the spine nice and straight and the neck long. Let's swap sides. Take a deep breath in and a long exhale. Now we're going to do one more, except we're going to mix it up a little bit. So what we'll do is we'll bend the right knee, and then from here I'm going to bring the left hand to the left hip or to the left ribs, and I'm going to reach up with the left shoulder. It doesn't so much matter where the arm goes here. I'm opening the chest. And we'll have a go on the other side. I'm going to exhale, bring this left hand back down. I'm using inhale to stabilize the spine here, and I'm reaching up. And this is going to really intensify this opening up through the hip here. Now you'll probably notice the weight is in the blade of the foot, so try to press down through that inner knuckle, or the knuckle behind the big toe. If you like, we can reach all the way up. Create that big opening out over the side body even. Deep breath in. And then exhale, come down. That's inhale. So start off just with the shoulder, or start off just with the elbow, and then reach all the way up if you've got that in your anatomy. Notice as you Put a bit of pressure down through the arch of that left foot. It intensifies that lift in the left hip. Deep breath in. We're going to do one more on each side. Inhale. Exhale. Stay with it. Inhale. Exhaling. Now, last one. Inhale. 2 breaths. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Now, last one. Reach up. Big extension there. You can even, once again, start to bring the left ribs down towards the left knee here, which will bring you further into a fold, opening up this right hamstring even more. Deep breath in. Exhale. We're going to bring that right hand down now. Get this block out of the way for a moment. Bring the hands to the shins. Extend the arms. We'll bring the hands just underneath the knees, really. Extend the arms, and then bring yourself into a nice flat posture here, a nice flat back. So we're lifting the chest. Not so much lifting the lower back, but lifting the chest and shining forwards. Now let's bend the knees. Exhale. Bend the knees so much that you feel like you can even sink the hips down. You're sort of squatting here, then lift the chest, sweep up. And exhale, bring the hands back down. So this is the start of our sun salutation sequence. So there's a few different sequences, but we'll sort of move through all the little variations. So let's press into the heels. Let's tuck the tailbone, lift up. Greet the sun, guys. And then we're going to bend the knees, exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to exhale, bring my hands down to the mat. I'm going to step the right foot back. And I'm going to find a lunge here. Drop the right knee down, inhale, sweep up. Exhale, sinking in. Inhale, lifting up. Through the chest. There's a back bend happening here, but I'm tucking under. So it's all the upper body that's lifting. I'm not crunching downwards ever into the lower back. Coming forward. And I'm just going to slide this left foot back now. Tuck the tailbone under, guys. Bring my chest forward. And then lower down. Elbows brush past the ribs. Now I'm going to inhale and lift the chest. Draw the shoulder blades together. And exhale, spill forward. Press back up. Squeeze the elbows in towards the ribs as you press back up. We'll sink back down. Now I'm going to inhale and extend this left leg. I'm going to exhale and step through, guys. Left side, well, right side, sorry. I'm going to sweep up. Exhale, sink down. Inhale, lift the chest now. And exhale, spill forward. Now let's step back. Remember, guys, tucking the tailbone under. Bring the chest forward and then lower down. So you want the shoulders in line with the hips, really. Press into the pelvis, lift the chest, inhale. And then exhale. Now we'll add this really nice little movement in. So we're going to slide the hands back. Whoops, slide the hands back. Come down onto the knees. Tuck the tailbone under, lift the chest, press into the fingertips. Draw the shoulder blades towards the spine. Give yourself a nice big back bend there, but you're nicely supported by the fingertips pressing down through the mat. Inhale. Exhale, spill forward. Slide the hands forward. Now we're going to stay in flow. Come back up onto hands and knees. Tuck the tailbone under. Tuck the tailbone under. Tuck the toes and lift the tailbone towards the ceiling. Take a deep breath in there. And a long exhale. Now we're just transitioning through downward dog. So we're walking towards the wrists now. Slide the hands up the shins. Same again, inhaling, flattening out the spine. And it's good to look down towards the toes here to keep the neck long as well. We're going to exhale, spill forward. Bend the knees, sweep up. Bring the hands down. Now let's go through that whole sequence again. Let's press into the heels, tuck the tailbone, take a deep breath in. And we're going to exhale this time. I'm going to fold forward, but all in the same breath. I'm going to step back with my right foot. And this time, I'm going to stay in a high lunge. I'm going to sweep up. Sink down. So sinking down into that left knee, opening that right hip as we press through the back heel and then lift the chest. Exhale, folding forward here. Now you might drop down to the knee, and that's fine. And stepping back, lowering through. Inhaling. Exhaling. Pressing back up. Squeeze the elbows in towards the ribs and press back up here. Now we're going to sink down. You're going to take a deep breath in, come up onto hands and knees. You can extend the right leg or not. And exhale, step through. I did it again, guys. Step the right foot through. Now let's take our high lunge. Let's press into the left heel. Tuck the tailbone. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, sink down. Inhale, lift. And exhale, fold forward. Now, I'm giving you the option, if you like, to come down to the left knee, or you can just step straight back. Now, make sure you're engaged here. And if you are in high plank, that's cool. You can come down to the knees from here. You can play around with it a little bit. Otherwise, we'll be coming straight down to the knees and through this Chaturanga Dandasana movement. Inhale, lifting. Exhale. Pressing back up, tucking the toes under. We'll find our downward dog, and let's take 3 breaths here in downward dog. Let's just release any tension in the lower back there by walking out through the heels. Make sure you're pressing firmly through the palms, through the knuckles. Deep breaths into the side of the body here. And keep the elbows soft. We'll keep a soft bend in the elbows there. Inhale. Let's lift up onto the balls of the feet. Exhale, put a bit of pressure down through the heels. Look towards the wrist, and you might take steps, or you might just step towards, or take 1 step towards the front of the mat. Same again, let's inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sweeping up now. So here we are, we're back here. Let's bring hands down to heart center. Let's find our breath. Let's take 3 breaths here. In Samasthiti here, so make sure the feet are at hip distance, guys. Make sure the shoulders are soft. Make sure the neck is long. Take a deep breath in. And the longest exhale you can, see if you can count to 5 as you exhale. Deep breath in. Center yourself back into your body. Inhale. Exhaling. One more, inhaling. And exhaling. I'm going to release my hands here. And you're probably still looking just at the front of the mat, and that's fine. So here we are. We'll start here. I'm going to reach up, deep breath in. And same again, this time I'm going to exhale, and you can keep your hands in the air here, and I'm going to step the right foot back again, but to a 45-degree angle. So not stepping back as far as you might think. And what's going to happen is your right hip is going to want to step back as well. So you might sort of counter that by pushing it forward, so we're squaring off with the front of the mat here. It's going to help us get this nice big opening as we bend the left knee. So next, your hands might still be in the air, and that's fine. We'll take a deep breath in. Bend this left knee and press firmly through this back heel. Now, the lower back's going to want to sort of, bend, and you're going to want to sort of sink into that to sort of, because we're pulling on the right hip flexors here, but let's counter that. Let's draw the ribs in towards the spine, keep an upright posture for that beautiful opening there. Inhale. Exhale, sink down. Inhale. And exhale. Inhaling. Straightening out through that left leg, and exhale, sinking down. Now we're here for 3 breaths. You can soften the elbows, create a little bit of space between ears and elbows there. You can even make that nice little sort of diamond shape with first finger and thumb. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, really visualize yourself pointing your coccyx, your tailbone towards the mat here, and then lift the chest. Perfect. We're going to exhale, fold forward. On the same breath, we're stepping the right foot forward. Now we're just going to step that left foot back and sweep up. Inhale. Exhale. Now let's take a few breaths just to set the posture up. Make sure you're not stepping so far back that your heel is off the ground. You're on a nice 45-degree angle, and we want to be pivoting this left hip forward and pressing down through that back heel. When you're ready, sink down into the right knee. Draw the ribs in. The lower ribs want to draw in. Reach up, inhale. Straighten that right leg out, and then exhale, sink down in. Let's move with the breath a little bit. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to find 3 breaths here. Inhale. Exhaling. Stay focused. Even find a point in front of you just to focus your gaze on. Try not to let the mind wander. One more. Inhaling. Exhaling. On this last breath, we're going to take a little back bend, so you're lifting the chest. Inhaling. And then exhale, folding forward. Stepping that left foot forward. Now I'll step back a little bit, make it easier to see. We're going to slide the hands back up. Make sure your feet are at hip distance, so you might need to shuffle those around a little bit. Lengthen the spine. And from here, we're going to bend the knees, keeping the spine nice and long, so you're going to feel yourself sort of orientate up towards the ceiling here, so your spine is still nice and straight. Now, from here, we can have our hands on our knees, and that's quite cool. Or we can have our hands to heart center, and that's nice as well. So we're in this chair pose, Utkatasana. Try not to let the knees fall inwards. You can put a block there and squeeze in on the block if you like, if you're having any tension in the knees. We're here for 5 breaths, guys. It's going to get pretty nice and warm. You can reach the arms out in front or start to reach up towards the ceiling. Hands to hips. Do what works for you, guys. Let's take 5 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Keep that equal weight through the feet. Inhale. Exhale. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale. Long exhale. Now we're going to fold forward. Keep the knees nice and bent. Wrap the hands around behind the backs of the knees. Lift the hips. Bring the lowest ribs down over the thighs there, and then guide yourself into that nice big forward fold. Feel that opening in the hamstrings. Try not to let the shoulders fall in towards the chest. Try to stay bright in the chest by drawing the shoulder blades towards the spine slightly. So here we are in a nice big forward fold. If you like, you can even bring the fingertips down underneath the big toes and draw yourself in even further. But remember, it's not so much about how far down our upper body comes towards the legs. It's more about this lift in the hips. Because as we lift the hips, the quads have to engage, which helps the hamstrings release. So the more that's happening in the lower body, the better for you. Even let the upper body sort of lose all tension at all. Let the upper body just sort of fall forward slightly and let it all happen in the legs there. Pressure through the heels. Opening up over the back of the hamstrings. You've got 3 breaths to go. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhaling. You can guide yourself right into the posture now. Last breath. Give it a nice big opening. Bend the knees a lot, everybody. Hands back to the shins. Lift. Neutralize the spine there. Exhale. Coming back down. Stepping back to hands and knees. Bring the knees in nice and close. Rock from side to side here. Release the lower back a little bit so the knees are touching. Dipping yourself in to the hips there. Maybe do some nice oscillations. Hopefully you'll hear a few little clicks and pops. So good for the knees. So good for the lower back. Then we're just going to bring the knees towards the wrists. Keep the legs to one side, extend the legs. You might need to shuffle forward a little bit. Take a deep breath in, everybody. Let's lower down here. Now we'll keep the energy up. We'll walk the feet back towards the hips. You want the knees stacked above the heels if possible, and the feet not in too close. Not too wide either, just behind the hips. Let's take a deep breath in and feel the lower back lift and feel it sort of ripple up into the chest. So there's this expansion over the front of the body here. And then exhale, ground down through the lower back, so we're reversing that movement. And then when you feel your tailbone lift just a little bit, then start to press down through the heels. And as if you're trying to point your coccyx towards your knees now, we're lifting the hips. So you feel that nice opening in the front of the body here. And then we're going to start to lift the chest. And then we can place the arms by the sides of the body, or we can even start to take a bind here where we would clasp the fingertips together. And then press down into the smallest finger there. There's a slight drawing together of the shoulder blades, and you're pressing down through the sort of the outer edges of your shoulders now, and definitely lift the chin just a little bit, just so you're not crunching into the back of the neck too much. Take a deep breath in, now press into the heels now that we're fully set up, and open up into your posture. Give yourself a nice big back bend there. Hopefully the glutes are feeling nice and warm. Even flex back on all 10 toes to really engage the arches in the feet. Take one final deep breath in, and then exhale, lowering down. In the same breath, we're going to bring the right foot up and place it just on the left knee. The ankle is just on the outside of the left knee there. And I'm going to wrap the fingers around that left thigh and just draw it in. It's really, really nice counter movement to that last pose. And just a really nice restorative movement as well, just to release the hips, lower back. For some of us, it might be hard to lay the head back on the mat when we're doing this, so you could put a block underneath the back of your head, or even roll up a towel. You can even roll up your mat. Even roll up the back of your mat there. That's a little bit of support there as well. If you'd like, you can reach for the shin instead of the back of the thigh there, and that will give you extra intensity as well. Let's take 3 breaths. Settle yourself in. See if there's any resistance. See if you're holding on at all. See if you can just let the muscles soften in the hips there, especially the right hip. Let yourself melt into the posture. Deep breath in. Now let's exhale, release. And we'll start on the other side here. So the alignment's not too important with this. We do want to make sure the ankle is just on the outside of the knee there. And to protect the knee joint, it is nice to dorsiflex these toes back towards the shin. And then reaching for the right thigh until you feel a nice opening in the hip there. It's a really nice, juicy, deep opening. So get you to that edge where it's uncomfortable but not unbearable. Not where you don't want to be in a sort of a state where all you're thinking about is getting back out of the pose. And remember, muscles only release when they're relaxed. So let yourself relax. If your body's holding on, if you're stressed, if you're anxious, or if you're waiting to get out of the pose, or if your body feels like it's in danger, it will tense up. And you'll lose the benefit of these lovely opening poses, these lovely stretches. Let's take 3 breaths. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more deep breath in. And exhale. Give yourself a nice big squeeze there. Really let the body release. Really let that left hip open, and then fully release. Bring the feet back down to the mat. Walk the feet out nice and wide. Maybe till you feel the edges of the mat on the soles of your feet here, and then we're just going to rock from side to side. And you should feel pretty nice and loose in the hips at this point by the time your knees should just sort of swing from side to side. It shouldn't feel too much resistance. Sometimes I like to even, as I rock over into the pose, press into, say, this would be the left heel, press into the heel of the lifted hip. If that makes any sense at all. So I'm sort of pressing off the heel, opening this right hip now. And then that'll be about it. We might just walk the feet away from the body. Maybe bring the feet out a little bit wider than the hips. Bring the hands down. Find somewhere comfortable for your body here. If you need to prop yourself up, if you need something under the knees or something under the back of the head, do so now. We're going to take a couple of minutes of stillness. And this can be some of the most challenging parts is just being in stillness. Now, we're not distracted by challenging our body or figuring out what's foot to step forward or something like that, or remembering to breathe. We're just left in this sort of nothingness. But try and focus your mind just on the stillness of your body. I like to imagine sort of each muscle. I like to run my awareness down my body and imagine each muscle sort of switching off. And every time you switch a muscle off, your body gets a little bit heavier. And you'll notice parts of yourself sort of just fall away and melt down into the mat. You'll feel your shoulders roll away from your chest. You'll feel your feet spill out to the side. You'll feel your hips roll away from your thighs roll away from your pelvis. And let the breath get really nice and soft now, so we're not controlling the breath. And let yourself fully melt into Savasana. Let yourself completely appreciate this moment. And then take a deep breath in, bring the hands to heart center, thread the hands up through the midline, reach up overhead here, point the toes. Exhale and squeeze down into the lower back. Inhale, fill the front body, fill your whole self up with air, get as long and as pointy as you can. Reach the hands up overhead. You might be just opening your eyes, and that's fine. Create some support there to lift yourself up into a seated position. And we'll finish off with hands at heart center in an upright position, so whatever's comfortable for you. Sealing our practice, guys, always with some gratitude for ourselves, our bodies, our ability to change and learn and grow and adapt. For the food we eat, the water we drink, and the air we breathe. Take a deep breath in. Namaste. And that's it for today, guys. Sun's out. Get out there. Enjoy yourselves. Thanks for joining me. If you've got any questions or anything like that, leave them in the comments section. I've got a yoga challenge coming up in, I'll be starting on the 8th, Monday the 8th of next month. It's going to be great. I'm going to be live streaming a class every morning at 7 a.m. And there'll be meditation and there'll be recipes and there's going to be loads of stuff. I think it's going to be the best challenge yet. Guys, thanks for having me. Who have we got here? Anya, Sharon, Roisin, Karen, David, Paul. See you next time.